get your little message. There we go. Okay. Well, this morning, I wanted to start off the week with some encouraging information and news to help us. This is, historically and kind of, people are all over the map about how they feel about the holidays and December in particular, because it houses a significant holiday for most people. And I feel like in this quest this last year, my mantra was, I can do hard things because I was made for hard things. And so I'm going to just warn you, don't do that one. Because when you say I can do hard things, I was built for this, or I can do hard things because I was made to do hard things. When you start to do that, it's amazing what happens in your life, that you get to work through and overcome some really hard things, or that's the idea. And so in the course of that, one of the hard things for me has been to be completely vulnerable and transparent everywhere. And not just from I'm an honest person, so it's not that piece of it. There's just things I choose not to share and struggles that I go through that I choose to keep private. I don't think that's a terrible thing. I think, sometimes things are made for public consumption, and sometimes, and probably most times, things actually are not made for public consumption. So I spent some time this year doing more things that just exposed who I really am. And it has allowed me to connect with people on such a sweet level. I've enjoyed my year. It's been really tough because I can do hard things, and the people that I know can do hard things. And so you start to discover we're all pretty much doing hard things. So you're not alone is what I want to lead into this about. You're not alone in doing hard things. And I think this month, a lot of us have experienced some loss already. We've lost friends that have passed away in recent days. Unexpectedly in our own life. There's like 3 people. I know it's this weird cycle of 3, but there it is. And so, all I can do is think about those families, and that this is already a challenging time of year. And now you attach some sort of sorrow connected to that. So really want to just encourage you today, as Reagan comes on and teaches this morning, to really shut everything else out for right now and just dial in. Because I feel like there's going to be some things that he shares that are going to resonate, that we're going to be able to go, okay, I needed to hear that today. And these very words are going to be the words that can sustain you through. If December is a tough month, or the holiday season is difficult for you, that'll sustain you through that. But I really hope and pray that it sustains you beyond that, that this is life-changing and impacting of your mind and your heart, so that your life is better. We talk about the books that we'll read, or the conferences that we go to, or whatever. We do those things for self-improvement or self-empowerment. But I think so much of the time we go and we get on this mountaintop of like, oh my gosh, that was so great. And, my life is going to be better now. But I don't ever do the work behind that. And I slowly slide down that mountain, and I get back to this, drudge. And really the point of self-improvement or self-empowerment, or life coaching, or therapy, whatever you're using as your input, is not to keep you in this place where you consistently need this salve. It's to give you tools to empower you and strengthen you, so that you can step up and you can conquer, so that you can do hard things, right? So I'm setting Reagan up, and he's probably gonna roll his eyes a little bit at me, but I really appreciate Reagan a lot. Reagan and I have a great friendship. We have been through a lot of crazy things together in the business world, and then personally. And so I know that when he shares something, it doesn't just come from some book that he read that he feels like he needs to regurgitate. It comes from studying and experiencing and learning and investing. And so I hope and pray today that something that comes out of Reagan's mouth just touches you in a way that gives you that building block place where you're stepping on things and growing stronger, smarter, faster, and better. Reagan, take it away, my friend.
All right. And Kim, I'm going to request that you choose a different mantra. Your hard things. Because I get to go on the journey with her. So let's
Let's make 2024 easy. Is that it?
Fantastically easy things are coming our way. Like high value, easy things are coming our way.
I'll take it. I'll
Okay.
take it.
Well, Kimberly, thank you. I feel the same way about you. One of my dearest friends, and I would have no other partner in this crazy journey than Kimberly Ryan. So we're
Thank
lucky to have you. And I think everyone on this call would agree. So
you. Maybe.
oh no, maybe. Thank you for having me this morning. What I'm gonna talk about today ties in beautifully to what Kimberly said about hard things. And what is ultimately what we call life, right? Whether it's in a business or personal lens, because as we know, they're all connected, they all overlap. So today, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Reagan Nickelson. I'm a mindset performance coach with reThink Coaching. It's Tony, my husband and I's coaching company. We coach real estate agents, but we also coach other entrepreneurs. I coach life coaching to individuals. And right now, I'm kicking off. Just last week, I kicked off a collaboration with two world-class friends of mine that come from a more corporate coaching. One of the coaches, Kyla Martin, coaches with Deloitte, and Cindy has some corporate clients, Cindy Nyland, but together we come with different perspectives. But to say that, we've launched a program called Your Radiant Mind, and you'll see my little logo that's changed up here, and I did it for today for you guys, and I'll talk more about it at the end of the presentation. But I want to share with you our 3-step process to thriving, not just surviving in life. And to Kimberly's point, we're at a busy time of the year. We're at a stressful time of the year. The holidays tend to really amp up the stress level for people. And we're trying to close out our year strong in real estate. So there's a lot of stuff coming at us. And let us not forget why the holidays tend to be stressful, because we're dealing with family dynamics, right? Because we're being thrown into environments that we don't really have to deal with on the intense level that we do during the holidays. Maybe that looks like a dinner. Maybe that looks like a family gathering, and you get to listen to old Uncle John talk about politics or religion or money or your relationships. You know what I mean? And so those are things that can trigger us, that can really set us off. And today on this 3-step process, I want to talk to you about how to manage and handle this. It's a really, really simplistic 3-step program, but guys, it is super powerful. It is a game changer. So Kimberly, I'm going to do your favorite thing in the whole world. I'm going to share some slides.
Woohoo!
And I'm probably not going to be able to have my head poked through, but I think for this presentation, Kimberly and I feel different, have thoughts on slide presentations. I won't be reading this. I won't be presenting that way, but I do want you to see the information, because I think there's going to be some things that you're going to want to write down and take notes on. So in that regard, Kimberly, can I share my screen?
Yes, sir. Knock yourself
Right.
out. There you go.
All right, guys. Can everyone see this okay? Thriving versus surviving.
Yep.
All right. So this is to the right. You'll see Your Radiant Mind, a journey to becoming you. Guys, think about this. We are who we are meant to be already. What we're looking to do is to start chipping away at the outer shells of who we're not. So when you think about becoming who you are, you're really sloughing off who you're not. And so I want you to start thinking about that as we go into 2024. Like Kimberly said, educating yourself, taking the classes, reading the books, because that's how we slough off who we're not. And we become who we actually already are. We just haven't gotten to that core, right? It's like a marble statue that you chip away. That beautiful sculpture was always inside, right? And that's what we're looking to get. So the 3-step process is pause, seek, and find. So let's dive into this program. And sorry, guys, I know this isn't showing in presentation mode, so you'll have to forgive me. You can see my slide deck on the left, I assume. Think about this, guys. The reason we react to the world we do, the reason we say the things we say, the reason we know the things we know is because we're operating out of our dinosaur brain. It's our conditioned habitual behavior. And guys, think about this. 97% of everything we do and everything we say is conditioned habitual behavior. That comes from our ancestors, that comes from our parents, that comes from our learnings, that comes from the news, that comes from the groups of people you hang out with. And we develop that at a very, very early age. Usually between 0 and 7 years old is when we start downloading all that information. We're really like a blank laptop when we're born. Think about that analogy. And we start downloading the software. We download what our parents believe. We download what their parents believe. We download what our grandparents believe. That's the ancestral piece, right? We start taking on their values, their beliefs, their thought processes. And our dinosaur brains already existing before that, right? This is like our primitive mind that's protecting us, right? But we don't need the protection that we used to have. We're not protecting ourselves from tigers and lions and things, and we're running into a cave or we're running up a tree. But that brain still exists. That's why I call it the dinosaur brain. We sometimes call it the lizard brain or your primitive brain. So take that basis of that and then start adding what your parents tell you and what you see on the news and what the kids at school tell you and what your teachers are telling you. And this is where we develop the conditioned habitual behavior. And just to prove it, we all know certain things and can finish any sentence. Better late than, put it in the chat, guys. What, better late than what? Never. Never. Yeah, Steve, never. Mary had a little lamb. It's
Christmas by the snow.
Thank you, Kimberly. We know these things. And guys, that seems really simple, but there's a reason we know these things. There's a reason that our brain will automatically finish sentences is because that's how we were preconditioned by our parents, by our brain, by our dinosaur brain, by all those things. What's important to know about this is why we need a tool to help us pull out of this dinosaur brain, out of our conditioned habitual behavior. Now, what's great about conditioned habitual behavior is it's software. Remember the analogy, we're downloading software. What can we do with software, guys, when we're done with it? Kimberly?
Throw it out.
Throw it out, delete it. Absolutely. Thank you, Cindy. We can throw it out and we can delete it and we can download something that's serving us better. So I want you to think about this. The reason we're going to talk about pause, seek, and find, our 3-step process to thriving in life, thriving in business, is because we want to step out of the dinosaur brain, our conditioned habitual behavior, and create new neural pathways. Kimberly's talked about this on several occasions this year, that we want to create new pathways in which we can think and we can make better decisions. All right. I love this quote by Viktor Frankl. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Guys, can you see the value in that? When we stop and create space between something happening, because guys, the world's coming at us. Everything's coming at us. Kimberly, like the hard things, right? And in 2024 for Kim, the easy things are coming at us, but all things good and bad are coming at us. And we have to decide how we're going to react to them. Our dinosaur brain will have us launch at it like we're in fight or flight mode. It'll cut it off at the knees. It'll have us respond so quickly that we don't even know what we've said. And the minute we say it, you start processing, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I could have done better than that. Because guys, how many times have you said something that felt real good in the second? Like, I mean, you popped off, you got smart, you maybe gave a little hand gesture from the window. I know Kimberly would never do that. Never do that.
Thank you.
I know she wouldn't, but I can't say that for myself. But how do you feel the second it's done? How do you feel the second you popped off to someone, the second you've made a gesture with your hand?
Usually like shit.
Yeah, you feel terrible. You feel terrible. So what I love about this quote is we're going to start creating the space, the pause that will create that moment for you to step back and step out of the situation and make a better choice. Respond differently. Maybe don't respond at all. So that's going to lead us to, and I've talked about this, the three-step process. We're going to pause, we're going to seek, and we're going to find. So let's dive into that. The pause. Guys, practice the pause. I tell clients this all the time. The one thing that will change your world if you do nothing else in life is when things come at you, people come at you, clients come at you, other agents come at you. Life's going to happen, guys. We can't control the world. Life's going to happen. That's what I call a circumstance. That's going to come at you regardless of whether you want it or not. To Kim's hard things. The hard things came, didn't they, Kim?
Absolutely.
And you had to choose how you reacted to it. Now, I'm gonna suggest that when we practice the pause, and just remember that, guys, practice the pause. When things come at you and trigger you or rage you, or your blood starts. What does your blood start doing when you get mad? Your blood starts boiling.
Boiling.
Step back, step into the pause. You're going to create that space that Viktor Frankl's talking about. You create the space for you to make a powerful decision. Breathe. Once you've paused and you've stepped back, guys, you can do this in split seconds. This isn't like a big production like, Kim, I know you said something to me, so I'm going to take a pause here. You just quietly, the pause could be seconds. You take a breath, you step out of the situation and become aware of the situation, the emotions and the thoughts that you're feeling. Like, let's say if Kim came at me and I said, ooh, wow, I feel that rising in me. I feel that trigger rising in me. What about this is triggering me? You know, in seconds, I can have these thoughts with myself, right? What about that is in me? What about this do I need to learn? We can ask ourselves questions, but ultimately we're creating space for our mind to process. And then when we create the space for the process, we can choose our action, our reaction, or our non-action. Guys, do y'all understand how powerful deciding what you're going to do is? Not allowing your dinosaur brain to decide, because your dinosaur brain is going to have me go at Kimberly's throat like this. Because that's just my primitive wiring coming out. I don't care how evolved I think I am. It still lives there. I always like to say my little dinosaur, I now have like in a little, maybe like a cross bag, you know, like a little, like a little shoulder bag. What do we call it, Kimberly? What do you call the fanny pack that goes across?
Crossbody.
Merce.
Yeah.
Crossbody. I got my little dinosaur in my crossbody, and he's pretty tame, but he rears his head daily and he's looking around. He's not roaring like he used to, but you guys, you'll never get rid of the brain, right? You'll never get rid of the little dinosaur. We've called it the monkey, you know, the monkey voice.
Drunk monkey.
Yeah, the drunk monkey. Yes, thank you. KW days.
Yep.
So, but he's there. But what we're going to learn to do is turn the volume down. And when we turn the volume down and create space, then we can choose whether we're even going to react. My reaction to Kimberly might be a no reaction. That might be the most powerful reaction. Or I might say something, but in a much more empathetic, sympathetic tone, as opposed to, right? So does everyone understand this concept? Space, pause. Kimberly.
Hey, Reagan, I just
Yes.
was going to say that the flip side of that is true too, not just on the receiving side, but on the sending side, right? So in your example of me coming at you, for me to be at a place where I want to come at you, there's some thought there, there's some stuff happening, right? So for me to take that moment and choose my words, slow down, back things up a little bit, I think we have to remember just how incredibly powerful words are. And it doesn't matter if it's like your mom said this to you, your dad said this, a neighbor said it, somebody you've never even seen, or met. When people use their words and they're hurtful, we don't have this shield that just says, oh, that didn't touch me. It 100% touches you. So I think when we're in that position for being the ones who are speaking, I think we have a responsibility to do this same set of actions or steps before we let things cross our lips to say the things that we, a little snide remark, a little cutting remark, a little, sound of derision in your voice. Your word might be fine, but it's the tone in which you use it. It's the
Yeah.
circumstance, like all of those things, right? Like that is your dinosaur brain speaking, and manipulation is dinosaur brain. Like all of these, there's a whole bunch of psychological behaviors that are around this, but I think it's not just in the how you're responding to something. I think we have a responsibility of how we're sending things out.
Absolutely, Kimberly. And look at the power of how you can control a situation, Kimberly, in that scenario, the words you use, the words you choose not to use. That puts you in a power position, guys, especially in business. I mean, in life, but think about it from a business lens. If Kimberly and I are realtors working a deal together and she's choosing her words very carefully, very methodically, very controlled, very calm, how's that going to make me feel? I'm gonna give her back. I'm gonna mirror and match her. She comes at me with her dinosaur. I'm gonna pull my dinosaur out of my little fanny pack here, my crossbody, right? You can see it, can't you, Kim?
I can.
My little dinosaur.
Yeah.
See, there he is. Okay.
Hey, Reagan.
But yes, Steve.
This is just it's such an awesome teaching, and I'm so glad you're doing this. And I recently went through an experience in life where we're going through this, and it's actually interesting because on the inside of my wrist is pause, identify, respond with a pause button.
Yeah.
And I had it tattooed there so that I can touch my left arm when I need to pause, whether it's, in a business conversation, a text, and it has been so powerful, not just in business, but with family, to just like take a breath, identify how you're feeling, and then figure out how to respond. And sometimes that text message might be a day or so before it's actually responded to, and just taking the time. So guys, this is really, really powerful and going to have a huge impact if you'll take in what Reagan's saying.
Oh, Steve, thanks for sharing that. And I love that you put that right here and you have your touch points. I mean, it is so powerful, guys. And that's why I said, if you can remember to do nothing else but pause, just zip it.
Well, and if you look where
maybe for a minute, maybe for a day, but just take that moment. Kimberly.
Sorry, I was going to say, if you look where he put it on his wrist, it's where you take your pulse, right?
Yes.
It's not.
Yeah, right there.
Not by accident. So this is about controlling your actions, your mind, but it's taking control. Like we can't control all of the thoughts that come in our head. And certainly we can control all the things that come out of our mouth.
Yes.
And sometimes
I'll be hard sometimes, but yes.
Right. So I mean, I think it's cool, Steve, that it's where you've physically put it on your body, because that is a very conscious action to take your pulse, slow down, think about these things before you shoot your mouth off. You can say you're sorry for things, but that doesn't take away the sting that you already sent out there. Those barbs hurt. And when you pull a barb out, it's worse, right? It goes in and it hurts. But you try to take that fish hook out, it's barbed backwards. It shreds the skin. So if you think about this from just like a physical place, this is pretty tough, right? Like our words are powerful, and how we respond back, we're using those words again in just a different fashion, right? The dinosaur comes out, says all these big giant words that, eat somebody's head, and it's not cool.
Absolutely. Any questions, guys, before we move to our step 2, which is seek? Any questions on pause? If one thing you take away from pause, have the awareness that you need to pause. Like get into awareness that you need to pause. If you do nothing else, just like zip the mouth. And trust me, your mind will take you where you need to go if you give yourself space to do that. All right. Seek. Guys, become curious. Seek first to understand. Understanding and getting clarity on a situation and yourself. Guys, it ties back into start feeling those emotions, feeling the thoughts. Kim's coming at me, and guys, I just use this as an example, but let's say in Kim and I's scenario, we're doing a deal together. We're both agents, and she's coming at me really aggressively. I can step back to Kim's point and say, what's going on in her world? What in
Right.
the world is going on with Kimberly, especially if I know her? I may need to pause and go, Kimberly, my friend, what's going on? Talk to me. Like, let's put this deal on the side. What's going on? Even if you don't know the person, you can still step back and go, what in the world is going on with that barista at Starbucks? That person that cuts us off in traffic. Do you get my point? So we can, as Kimberly said, we as the receivers of it can step back. And then I want you to engage your higher brain and ask questions, because guys, this is a great hack. Your unconscious mind, even your conscious mind, wants to find answers. They're like little busy children. You just have to send them to go do something. So ask the question. You're in a weird situation. You're in a conversation that's triggering you. Something's rising up in you. What am I feeling now? Find those emotions. What thoughts are running through my mind? I love this other one. I didn't put it on the slide, but what am I here to learn? Why is this happening? Like, Kimberly had hard things coming at her this year, as I'm sure a lot of us did. And the first thing that I say when the proverbial stuff's hitting the fan is I step back and I go, what am I supposed to learn from this? Because your dinosaur brain's like, F this, I'm out. This isn't fair. Why is this happening to me? But in fact, it's happening to you, I believe, for a reason. Because Kim, would you agree that you are stronger, that you are smarter, that you are more, I love to use the word enlightened, and I unapologetically use it because I think we're all on an enlightenment journey. Do you feel more than you did at the first of this year because of everything you went through?
Absolutely. But I think a lot of that comes from being very broken through it, right? Like breaking things down, that's the work, right? And so the hard things come our way and we can shield them and we can dodge and get around them. I don't think any of us is immune from difficult or challenging things happening in our life. But it's the fact that you take the shield down and you take the hit and you go, okay, now I'm broken apart. Let's figure out, what needs to be corrected. What do I need to eliminate? What do I need to add? What do I need to protect from? How do I need to walk forward? And I think that's the process. And, Steve and I have had these conversations a lot lately, but ongoingly, like, what do we need to do? Like, how are we better? Like, not just how are we busier? Because you can be really busy about doing stuff that looks like self-improvement. It looks like you're getting it all together. But the truth is, you can't really fix something. It doesn't need fixing until it's actually broken. And so sometimes these hits that we take, we have to take those and then allow the hit to crush and destroy, and then pick it up and figure out, what to do with the pieces. And to your point, what am I feeling now? What can I learn from this? I think that's super valuable.
Yeah. And Kimberly, think about this. Like, I call it the whispers. Like, I believe that the universe, God, whoever your higher power, right? Whatever you believe in, I believe it's guiding us. God, universe, whatever that looks like for you is guiding us. And I call it the whispers. I think we're always being whispered, like, Kimberly, go this way. Kimberly, do this. But what do we not do sometimes when people are whispering? We don't listen. And sometimes it takes breaking you down, right, Kimberly?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you get pushed into the deep end. That's why people sometimes lose their jobs, lose their marriages, lose their money, lose their business, because they didn't listen to the whispers. I was reading a book one time that said that this expert was talking about it, said, I would argue that nothing ever really happens like a surprise. Like, I didn't see it coming. You just didn't see it coming. The whispers were there, right? The things leading up to that were likely present in your world. You just weren't aware. But this is where I want you to start seeking and becoming aware and asking questions and exploring your underlying emotions and thoughts that are influencing your current state of mind. Guys, like, when you're feeling some ways, like, what about sadness? What about anger? And identify and acknowledge the emotions you're feeling. Guys, and this is another hack. I didn't put it on the slide. I want you to think about this. I want you to identify, like Kimberly might say, you know what? And here's the key word, I'm noticing anger. I don't want you saying, I am sad, I am angry, I am mad. You are not those emotions. You're just experiencing those. So guys, use the hack, I'm noticing. When you acknowledge when you identify and acknowledge an emotion, say, I'm noticing sadness. I'm noticing anxiety. Do you see the difference, guys? Noticing takes me into observer mode, where I'm stepping back out of the situation and I'm like, you know what? I'm noticing anger here. I'm noticing sadness. I'm noticing this feeling of anxiety. And I see you, I got you. And you start working through it then, because when we sit with an identified and an acknowledged emotion, we can let it go. Because we're not identifying as it, we're identifying that we're experiencing it. Does that make sense to everyone?
Absolutely.
Any questions on the seeking part? This is really just about curiosity, guys. This is about seeking is just putting a flashlight on your emotions and your thoughts, like just kind of being in discovery mode, asking questions of yourself. All right. Now we're going to take that third step and we're going to find the connection between your emotions and your thoughts and the results you're experiencing. So team, think about this. Every thought you have, every circumstance that happens, everything that happens in the world that we have no control over comes at us. We have a thought about it. We create an emotion. That emotion creates an action, and that action ultimately gets us a result. So I want you to start seeing that connection between the emotions, your thoughts, and the results you're getting. And reflect on how your thoughts and your emotions are shaping your current experience, behavior, and your reactions to situations. So guys, if you find that your world is giving you the same outcome that you're feeling, you're noticing anxiety, you're noticing that you're always kind of pissed off, that you're always a little sad, I want you to start dissecting that and sitting with that. And what's going on in your world that you're always getting it always comes back to your thoughts. Your thoughts drive your emotions, and your emotions get you actions, and your actions get you results. So if you don't like the results you have in your world, we need to take you back up to the thoughts you're having on a regular basis. So this is where I want you to start finding that connection. Start just being aware. Say, oh, when I think this, I feel this. And then when I feel that, I do this. And when I do that, I get this result. It happens a lot with overeating. Guys, something happens in our world, we have a thought, and that thought creates an emotion, and that emotion may drive you to eat when you're not hungry. And then what happens when we overeat? What's the result we get?
Nothing good.
We typically gain weight, right? And that could be fine or not fine. I'm not making it right or wrong. But if you're not looking to gain weight, that could be a less than desirable result. So think about that as we go through the rest of this presentation. If you're not liking where you are, if the results you're getting are not serving you, then I want you to choose alternative thoughts and emotions that will lead to a more desirable outcome. Guys, this is a really simple process. Go back to that thought. Let's use the weight loss piece. Let's say something happens in our world and we change that thought to something more positive. And then that more positive thought leads us to a more positive emotion. And that more positive emotion leads us to a better action. And then perhaps, maybe in the scenario, we eat an apple as opposed to a bag of Doritos. Which ain't nothing wrong with some Doritos. But we don't need to eat a whole bag of them at one time. That's why I don't even bring them in the house, if I'm being full transparency. But can you see, when we choose different thoughts, we can then change the whole flow of the results we're getting. And what this does, it empowers yourself to make more conscious decisions versus being carried by our little pet dinosaur here. our little friend that we carry around. And guys, I carry mine here in a crossbody. Some people carry them on their back and they're bigger than they are. And they're like, their heads are coming over their shoulders. So when I say you'll never get rid of your dinosaur, that is true. But we want to get our dinosaur into a very compartmentalized crossbody, not over our backs where it's beating us up, where it's just dominating our lives, where it's dictating our automatic responses to the world. Because team, that becomes exhausting. I mean, we've all been there and it feels terrible. That's why you feel exhausted at the end of the day. That's why you feel like the world's against you. But I want you to start understanding the control you have when we create space, when we seek to understand, and then when we find a way to get a better result. And we have that full control to do that. All right, guys, this can be done as a self-coaching practice. Literally, I want you to write down pause, seek, find. Like, just go through these 3 steps. Pause, practice the pause, seek to understand, and find the thought, find the feeling, find the result that you're looking to have. It will be the game changer, team. The game changer. Any questions on the pause, seek, find? Okay. Kimberly, if I may, we at Your Radiant Mind, we're offering a special 5-module course that is available to you. We're offering it at a really special price for our early adapters and for our community, which this is you guys. We are going to dive deeper on these ideas, these programs, this concept. It's going to be a 5-module. You're going to have access to an online community. You're going to have, we're going to do group coaching. We're going to have live on-demand coaching sessions. We're going to give you prompts, journal prompts, mindset exercise, downloads, early access to VIP events, webinars, and exclusive membership discounts on any one-to-one coaching that you'd like to do with us. So this is available to you. You can go to yourradiantmind.com. You can reach out to me. I'm not going to hard pitch you on this, but I'd love to have you if this is of interest to you. And then as a bonus, if you sign up, if you're one of the first 10 people to sign up, we're offering a free 2024 visioning session. We're going to do it virtually the week of 1/15. So it's going to be a really fun way to start thinking about what you're looking for in 2024. Not hard things, right, Kim?
Nope.
Not hard things.
Not this year.
This is free to the first 10 that sign up today, or it's $147. So either way, would love to see you there. That's my spiel. So anyway, thank you guys so much. I love being a part of Lions and Legends. It has just been a game changer for me this year. So Kimberly, Ryan, I appreciate you for pulling us all together for this.
Thank you. Well, my pleasure. Thanks for coming today. I appreciate that too. There's so much in this to unpack. I asked him specifically to come. Some of you are struggling with what to get your family members or yourself for your own present. And, if we're really serious about improving ourselves, then these might be things that we want to look at in terms of taking advantage of his offer today. Normally, we don't do a commercial on here at all. You guys know that. You can trust that. But this is different for me personally, because I just feel like there's so many of us who feel isolated and don't have someone that we can lean into that understands the craziness of our industry and our world. And so I think when you kind of get into this community spot, you're in a much, much better place. So take advantage of it. We'll post this in Lions and Legends Facebook page. If you're not part of that, please send a request. It's a private group, but we'll let you in because, we want to hang with you. Last thing that I want to share is that I have a Fate from Agent to Entrepreneur planned for January. I'm waiting on the confirmation from the location before I can post the date, but I just kind of want to throw it out there to you. There are some really good speakers that we have lined up already, so I'm very excited about that. I hope to be able to give you real dates next week. We will meet next Monday. We will not meet the following 2 for obvious reasons. So I'll give you some time with your families on Monday for the holidays days. So, okay, I will see your lovely faces next week. I hope you have the best week ever. Keep your chin up, keep your eyes open, and go sell something.
Thank you,
guys.
Reagan.
Bye, everyone.
It was amazing today. Thanks, Thanks, Kimberly.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.